Welcome to Study Loop.
All right, so today we're going to be talking about, once again, the negative feedback loop. So when we take a look at this negative feedback loop, we know that this means that when something happens to a body that fluctuates something in their body, such as, for this case, let's look at body temperature. That means to maintain and keep it in a loop and making sure that they stay within a good homeostasis. They go through homeostasis to maintain equilibrium, which basically means that their body stays between certain parameters. This means that if they get too hot, they do something that makes them colder. If they get too cold, they do something that makes them hotter. So in these ways, we can tell that this sort of equilibrium is necessary. The difference, this is key, the difference between organisms is how they do it. How do they maintain this equilibrium? And in the context of homeostasis, what do they do differently? And as we've seen before, there are lots of differences between endotherms and ectotherms. Ectotherms uh, can change their body temperature based on the environment. So they can just go lay in a hot rock when they're too cold. Endotherms might do something that changes their processes internally because their body heat is maintained internally. So, for example, they might shiver. Out of all the options given to us in the choices below, we see that only the first one, A, talks about a negative feedback loop at all, and talks about something that organisms might do to prevent this sort of uh, body from dropping too much in temperature during cold seasons. So the rest of the answer choices don't have any sort of discussion about negative feedback loops. So we know that A is the correct answer, and in it, that's because we can see that to combat the cold, animals increase their fatty acids, which is something they do internally to make sure that they are insulated against the heat, and then the plants make antifreeze proteins. And these antifreeze proteins help protect them from the cold and prevent them from dropping too low in temperature as well. So now that's a reason that we can see that different organisms handle homeostasis differently. Thanks.